Good morning, students. In the last class, we studied about the experiment that shows DNA replication is semi-conservative. Today, we will study about the set of the enzymes which are required for the DNA replication. Now, semi-conservative DNA replication. We studied that each strand or parent strand serve as a template for the formation of the new but complementary strand. Okay, here you can see this is the parent strand, here it is written parental strand, and this is the newly formed one. Okay, thus the new or daughter DNA, okay, formed would be made up of one old or parental strand and the other newly formed complementary strand. And this method of formation of new daughter DNA molecule is called semi-conservative mode of replication. Okay. Now, continuous and discontinuous. So, replication in DNA occurs within a small opening of the DNA helix known as replication fork. So here you can see this is a replication fork. Okay, so DNA dependent DNA polymerase catalyze polymerization only in one direction, and the main enzyme is DNA dependent DNA polymerase. It is why it is called so. It is called DNA dependent DNA polymerase as it uses a DNA template to catalyze the polymerization of deoxynucleotide. Okay. So DNA dependent, that is DNA polymerase. Okay. DNA dependent DNA polymerase catalyzes polymerization only in one direction, that is 5' to 3'. Here also you can see 5' to 3'. Okay, so this is the template strand and here the polymerization reaction is occurring, that is the newly synthesized formed on the template strand is going on. One is leading strand and then other is the lagging strand. So in a double helix structure of DNA, one strand runs from 5' to 3' direction, while the other is from 3' to 5' direction. Okay. So on the template strand which runs from 3' to 5', the addition of nucleotide will be from 5' to 3' direction. Okay. On this strand, the replication is continuous. Here you can see it is written replication is continuous and it is said to be leading strand. Okay. And on the other template that runs from 5' to 3' direction, okay, the addition of nucleotide is from the other end. Okay, from this side, that is from 5' to 3', and the replication is discontinuous, means it is in short stretches. Okay, means only fragments are synthesized, and these discontinuously synthesized fragments are known as the Okazaki fragments, which are later joined by DNA ligase. Here you can see it. Okay, so this strand is known as the lagging strand, and then all the discontinuously synthesized fragments are later joined by the enzyme, that is DNA ligase. Okay, so we know that DNA is a self-replicating structure and DNA replicates in a semi-conservative manner. So however, DNA replication is catalyzed by a set of enzymes. Okay, and many of the enzymes which are involved in DNA replication we will see. Okay, now what are the difference in the replication of eukaryotes and prokaryotes. Okay, so DNA replication in prokaryotes. Prokaryotes have a single circular chromosome, and replication begins at one point and continues in two directions. Okay, so here also the DNA unwind at origin of replication. Okay, that means prokaryotes, for example E. coli, have a single circular molecule of DNA, and which is much smaller in comparison to the single chromosome of a eukaryote. And though there is no beginning or end, so there is only one origin of replication. Okay, and from this point two replication fork. Okay, here you can see daughter strand are being formed. So replication fork here also, and this is the replication bubble here also. So two replication fork move in direction and ultimately meet at halfway round the circle at termination point, and each replication makes replica of the original chromosome, and so in the end two daughter DNA circles are formed. Okay, here you can see two daughter DNA molecules are formed. Okay, now DNA replication in eukaryote. So eukaryotes have multiple linear chromosome, and replication begins in multiple places on a chromosome and continues in both direction. Okay, so here you can see origin of replication in eukaryotes. So eukaryotes contain giant DNA molecule, and so each chromosome has hundreds of different origin of replication. So it is a complex process and involves a number of enzymes and protein factors. Now as the DNA molecule is very long, the two strands of DNA cannot be separated to its entire length due to very high energy requirement also. So the replication occurs within a small opening of the DNA helix called the replication fork. Okay, now each individual zone of chromosome replicates as a separate section called a replicating unit or replicon. Okay, here you can see one origin, second and three. So each replicon unit has its own origin of replication. Okay, and the replication bubble is being formed. Okay, now multiple units are seen undergoing replication at any given time. Okay, in a replicating chromosome. Okay, so each unit replicates in the similar way as in prokaryotic DNA using similar enzymes. Okay, so the advantage of having multiple origin of replication is the speed. So replication takes about 8 hours in human cell, and if there was only one origin, so it would have taken 100 times longer. Okay, now enzymes. So DNA replication is a highly enzyme dependent process, and there are many enzymes involved in DNA replication. Okay, which includes enzyme like DNA polymerase, helicase, lipase, topoisomerase. Okay, where DNA dependent and DNA polymerase is the main enzyme. Okay, so here it is written among them DNA dependent and DNA polymerase is the main enzyme. Now DNA polymerase. DNA polymerase is the chief enzyme of DNA replication, and DNA polymerase activity was discovered by Korenberg in 1956. So Korenberg succeeded in demonstrating the in vitro synthesis of DNA molecule using a single strand of DNA as a template. He extracted and purified an enzyme from E. coli which was capable of linking free DNA nucleotide in presence of ATP as an energy source. Okay, so to form complementary strand, and he called it DNA polymerase. So DNA polymerase 1 is called Korenberg enzyme. Here you can see. Now DNA dependent DNA polymerase. Okay, it helps in polymerization and catalyzes and regularizes the whole process of DNA replication with the support of other enzymes. Okay, and DNA nucleoside triphosphate are the substrate as well as the energy provider for the replication process. Why? Because all the catalytic reaction, okay, occurring during DNA replication needs energy. Okay, and this DNA replication is an expensive process because it requires a large amount of energy. Okay, so the deoxyribonucleoside triphosphate serves, okay, as a dual purpose. What it does, it not only acts as a substrate but it also provides energy for polymerization reaction, and this is very important. Many a times it has come in the board exam. Okay, now DNA polymerase is of three types: DNA polymerase 1, DNA polymerase 2, and DNA polymerase 3. Now, DNA polymerase 1 is known as Korenberg enzyme. Okay. So, DNA polymerase, important function of this enzyme is 5' to 3' polymerization, and it has exonuclease activity in both 5' to 3' and 3' to 5' direction. Okay, so the 5' to 3' polymerase activity is responsible for primer extension or DNA synthesis. Okay, and 5' to 3' exonuclease activity is involved in excision of DNA strand during DNA repair. And exonuclease, we will study this nuclease enzyme, exonuclease, endonuclease in the biotechnology chapter also. And exonuclease digests nucleic acid from one end and it does not cut DNA internally. Okay, now the 3' to 5' exonuclease activity is responsible for proofreading. Okay, so DNA polymerase 3' to 5' exonuclease activity. Here you see DNA polymerase goes back and removes wrong nucleotide and then adds the correct one, and this is the proofreading. Okay, that means this enzyme cut off the wrong bases and replaced them with the correct enzyme. So the polymerase action does commit error in DNA synthesis, and then DNA polymerase is known to scrutinize the new base, okay, added to the growing chain and to delete or remove wrong base, and this is known as the proofreading. DNA polymerase 2. So it is responsible for primer extension and proofreading also. Okay, so DNA polymerase 2 enzyme functions in DNA repair. It has 5' to 3' polymerase and 3' to 5' exonuclease activities. Okay, but its polymerization speed is less, that it only can add 50 nucleotide per minute. Okay. Now, DNA polymerase 3. DNA polymerase 3, it is responsible for in vivo DNA replication, and it has 5' to 3' polymerase and 3' to 5' exonuclease activity. Here you can see this is the DNA polymerase. Okay, that is the main enzyme, main replicating enzyme. Okay, and it performs 5' to 3' polymerization, and it is the main polymerizing enzyme because it has a greater polymerization speed, that is about 2000 base pair per second. Okay, now next is primase. Now this enzyme helps in the synthesis. Here you can see it is primase, helps in the synthesis of RNA primer complementary to the DNA template strand. That means it helps in the formation of a primer. And now what is a primer? Here you can see it is the primer. Now what is a primer? A primer is a short RNA segment that is formed in the DNA template before the replication can begin. Okay, and it polymerizes the complementary RNA building blocks, that is A, U, G and C in the primer. So it helps to initiate DNA replication. Okay, here you can see primase and the RNA primer. Now helicase. Helicase is the enzyme which unzips the DNA strand by breaking the hydrogen bonds between them, and thus it helps in the formation of the replication fork. So helicase are the special unwinding enzyme that help in breaking the weak hydrogen bond which holds the two strand of DNA together. Okay, so it helps in the formation of the replication fork. Here you can see this is the helicase enzyme. It helps in breaking the hydrogen bond between the nitrogenous bases. Okay, now DNA ligase. DNA ligase, this enzyme join together the short sections of newly synthesized polynucleotide chain and it puts the short pieces together. Okay, after replacing the DNA primer with DNA. Here you can see it joins together the short sequences of newly synthesized polynucleotide chain. Okay, that means in the discontinuous strand there are the discontinuous pieces of the lagging strand are joined together by the enzyme DNA ligase after the removal of the primer to form continuous daughter strand. Okay, now single stranded binding protein. So it binds to single stranded DNA and protect it from secondary structures. Okay, that means unbinding of DNA molecule into two strand results in the formation of Y-shaped structure. Okay, so these exposed single strands are stabilized by a protein, that is single stranded binding protein. Okay, so topoisomerase is an important maintenance role during DNA replication. Okay, now what it does, this enzyme prevents the DNA double helix ahead of the replication fork from getting too tightly wound as the DNA is opened up. That means now due to unwinding, a supercoiling develops on the end of DNA opposite to replication fork. Okay, and then the tension here is released by enzyme topoisomerase. Okay, that means these are the enzymes that can break and reseal one strand of the DNA. We are not talking about topoisomerase 1 and topoisomerase 2. Okay, now this is the summary of the DNA replication enzyme. Okay, so RNA primase initiate new strand synthesis. Okay, then helicase unwinds DNA at the replication fork. Okay, then DNA ligase joins Okazaki fragments on lagging strand, and DNA polymerase here it helps in the polymerization, that is synthesis of the new strand. Okay, then topoisomerase nicks and unwind strands to release mechanical stress of the unwinding. Okay, and then SSP protein binds and stabilizes single stranded DNA at the replication fork. So this all for today. Next we will see the mechanism of DNA replication, that is the sequence or the steps in which the DNA replication occurs. So that's all for today. Keep learning and do watch the video lessons regularly. That's all for today.